Dr. Wayne Dyer, The Power of Intention, Chapter 8. It is my intention to live my life on purpose. Those who have failed to work toward the truth have missed the purpose of living. Buddha. Your sole business in life is to attain God realization. All else is useless and worthless. Sivananda. A sense of purpose is at the very top of the pyramid of self-actualization created by Abraham Maslow more than 50 years ago. Through this research, Dr. Maslow discovered that those who feel purposeful are living the highest qualities that humanity has to offer. During the many years I have been in the fields of human development, motivation, and spiritual awareness, this is the topic that more people inquire about than anything else. I am repeatedly asked questions such as, how do I find my purpose? Does such thing really exist? Why don't I know my purpose in life? Being on purpose is what the most self-actualized people accomplish on their life journeys. But many individuals feel little sense of purpose and may even doubt that they have a purpose in life. Purpose and intention. The theme of this book is that intention is a force in the universe and that everything and everyone is connected to this invisible force. Since this is an intelligent system we are all a part of, and everything that arrives here came from that intelligence, it follows that if it wasn't supposed to be here, then it wouldn't be here. And if it's here, then it's supposed to be, and that's enough for me. The very fact of your existence indicates that you have a purpose. As I mentioned, the key question for most of us is, what is my purpose? And I hear that question in as many forms as there are people wondering about it. What am I supposed to be doing? Should I be an architect, a florist, or veterinarian? Should I help people or fix automobiles? Am I supposed to have a family or be in the jungle saving the chimpanzees? We're befuddled by the endless numbers of options available to us and wonder whether we are doing the right thing. In this chapter, I urge you to forget these questions. Move instead to a place of faith and trust in the universal mind of intention, remembering that you emanated from this mind and that you are piece of it at all times. Intention and purpose are as beautifully and naturally intertwined as a double helix of your DNA. They are no accidents. You are here for the purpose that you signed up for before you entered the world of particles and form. Many of the things that you refer to as problems result from the fact that you are disconnected from intention and therefore unaware of your true spiritual identity. The process of polishing that connecting link and reconnecting is basic to your intention to live your life on purpose. As you cleanse this link, you will make two very important discoveries. First, you'll discover that your purpose is not as much about what you do as it is about how you feel. Your second discovery will be that feeling purposeful activates your power of intention to create anything that's consistent with the 7 phases of intention. Feeling purposeful. In response to the question, what should I do with my life? I suggest that there is only one thing you can do with it, since you came into this life with nothing and you would leave with nothing. You can give it away. You feel most on purpose when you're giving your life away by serving others. When you're giving to others, to your planet, and to your source, you are being purposeful. Whatever is that you choose to do, if you are motivated to be of service to others while being authentically detached from the outcome, you will feel on purpose regardless of how much abundance flows back to you. So your intention is to live your life on purpose. But what is the spiritual source like in this regard? It's perpetually in the process of giving its life force away to create something from nothing. When you do the same regardless of what you're giving or creating, you are in harmony with intention. You are then on purpose, just as the universal mind is always acting purposefully. Take this one step further. Does the universal source of all life have to think about what it's doing with its powers? Is it concerned with bringing in gazelles or centipedes? Does it concern itself with where it lives or what it ultimately creates? No. Your source is simply in the business of expressing itself through the 7 phases of intention. The details are taken care automatically. Likewise, your feelings of being on purpose in your life flow through expression of the 7 phases of intention. Allow yourself to be in the feeling place within you that's unconcerned with such things as vocational choices or doing the things you were destined to do. When you're in the service of others or extend kindness beyond your own boundaries, you feel connected to your source. You feel happy and content, knowing that you are doing the right thing. I get that feeling of inner completion and contentment that lets me know that I'm on the purpose by reading my mail or hearing the comments I so frequently hear when I'm walking through airports or eating at restaurants. You changed my life, Wayne Dyer. You were there for me when I felt lost. This is different from receiving a royalty payment or a great review, which I also enjoy. The personal expression of gratitude are what sustain me in knowing that I am on purpose. Outside of my chosen occupation, I feel purposeful in a myriad of ways virtually every single day. When I extend assistance to someone in need, when I take a moment to cheer up a disgruntled employee in a restaurant or a store, when I make a child laugh who sits otherwise ignored in a stroller, or even when I pick up a piece of litter and place it in a trash can, I feel that I'm giving myself away and, as such, feel purposeful. Essentially, what am I saying is, stay on purpose by expressing the 7 phases of intention, and the details will find you. You will never have to ask what your purpose is or how to find it. Your purpose will find you. In a previous chapter, I reviewed the obstacles to connecting to intention and pointed out that our thoughts are one of the major roadblocks. I stressed that we become what we think about all day long. What thoughts do you have that inhibit you from feeling as if you are on purpose in your life? For instance, if you think that you're separate from your purpose and that you are drifting without direction throughout your life, then that's precisely what you will attract. Suppose instead that you know this is a purposeful universe where your thoughts, emotions, and actions are a part of your free will and are also connected to the power of intention. Suppose that your thoughts of being purposeless and aimless are really a part of your purpose. Just as the thought of losing someone you love makes you love them even more, or an illness makes you treasure your health, suppose that it takes the thought of your unimportance to make you realize your value. When you're awake enough to question your purpose and ask how to connect it, you're being prodded by the power of intention. The very act of questioning why you're here is an indication that your thoughts are nudging you to reconnect to the field of intention. What's the source of your thoughts about your purpose? Why do you want to feel purposeful? Why is a sense of purpose considered the highest attributes of a fully functioning person? The source of thought is an infinite reservoir of energy and intelligence. In a sense, thoughts about your purpose are really your purpose trying to reconnect to you. This infinite reservoir of loving, kind, creative, abundant energy grew out of the originating intelligence, and it's stimulating you to express this universal mind in your own unique way. Reread the 2 display quotes at the beginning of this chapter. Buddha refers to the truth, and Sivananda suggests that God realization is our true purpose. This entire book is dedicated to connecting to the power of intention and letting go of ego, which tries to make us believe that we are separate from our divine originating source and tries to separate us from realizing ultimate truth. This ultimate truth is the source of your thoughts. That inner beginningness knows why you're here, but your ego prods you to chase after money, prestige, popularity, and sensory pleasures and miss the purpose of living. You may feel sated and gain a reputation, but inside there is that gnawing feeling typified by the old Peggy Lee song, "Is that all there is?" Focusing on the demands of the ego levels you feeling unfulfilled. Deep within you at the level of your being is what you were intended to become, to accomplish, and to be. In that inner placeless place, you are connected to the power of intention. It will find you. Make a conscious effort to contact it and listen. Practice being what you are at the source of your soul. Go to your soul level, where intention and purpose fit together so perfectly that you achieve the epiphany of simply knowing this is it. Your silent inner knowing. Esteemed psychologist and philosopher William James once wrote, "In the dim background of our mind, we know meanwhile what we ought to be doing, but somehow we cannot start. Every moment we expect to spell the break, but it does continue, pulse after pulse, and we float with it." In my experience as a therapist and as a speaker talking with thousands of people about their lives, I have come to the same conclusion. Somewhere buried deep within each of us is a call to purpose. It's not always rational, not always clearly delineated, and sometimes even seemingly absurd, but the knowing is there. There is a silent something within that intends you to express yourself. That something is your soul telling you to listen and connect through love, kindness, and receptivity to the power of intention. That silent inner knowing will never leave you alone. You may try to ignore it and pretend it doesn't exist, but in honest, alone moments of contemplative communion with yourself, you sense the emptiness waiting for you to fill it with your music. It wants you to take this risk involved and to ignore your ego and the egos of others who tell you that an easier, safer, and more secure path is the best for you. Ironically, it's not necessarily about performing a specific task or being in a certain occupation or living in a specific location. It's about sharing yourself in creative, a loving way using the skills and interests that are inherently part of you. It can involve any activity: dancing, writing, healing, gardening, cooking, parenting, teaching, composing, singing, surfing, whatever. There is no limit to this list, but everything on the list can be done to pump up your ego or to serve others. Satisfying your ego ultimately means being unfulfilled and questioning your purpose. This is because your source is egoless, and you are attempting to connect to your source, where your purpose originates. If the activities on the list are in service to others, You feel the bliss of purposeful living, while paradoxically attracting more of what you would like to have in your life. My daughter Sky is an example of what am I presenting here. Sky has known since she could first speak that she wanted to sing. It was almost as if she showed up here in the world with a destiny to sing for others. Over the years, she sung at my public appearances, first as a 4-year-old and then at a very age up until now, her 21st year. She has also sung on my public television specials, and the reaction to her singing has always been gratifying. As a student immersed in a music program at a major university, Sky studied from academic and theoretical perspectives. One day in her junior year, we had a discussion that centered on her purpose and this silent inner knowing she's always had. "Would you be upset," she inquired, "if I left college? I just don't feel like I can do what I know I have to do by sitting in a classroom and studying music theory any longer. I just want to write my own music and sing. It's the only thing I'm thinking about, but I don't want to disappoint you and Mom." How could I? Who tells his readers not to die with their music still in them? Tell my 21st-year-old daughter to stay in college because that's the right way, and it's what I did. I encourage her to listen to the silent knowing that I have seen evidence of since she was a toddler, and to follow her heart. As Gandhi once said, "To give one's heart is to give all." This is where God exists in Sky, and in you. I did ask Sky to make a supreme effort to live her purpose by serving those who would listen to her music, rather than focusing her attention on being famous or making money. Let the universe handle those details, I reminded her. You write and sing because you have to express what is in that beautiful heart of yours. Then I asked her to think from the end and act as if all that she wanted to create for herself was already here, waiting for her to connect to it. Recently, she voiced dismay at not having her own CD out in the world, and she was acting with thoughts of not having a CD out in the world. Consequently, no CD and lots of frustration. I strongly encourage her to start thinking from the end by seeing the studio being available, the musicians ready to collaborate with her, the CD as a finished product, and her intention as a reality. I gave her a deadline to have a CD completed that I could make available at my lectures. I told her that she could sing to those audiences, as she has done sporadically in her life as well as on my public television pledge shows. Her thinking from the end materialized everything she needed, and the universal spirit began to work with her unbending intent. She found the studio, the musicians she needed magically appeared, and she was able to have the CD produced. Sky worked tirelessly day after day, singing her own favorites, as well as several that I wanted her to sing at my appearances, including Amazing Grace, the prayer of St. Francis, and her own composition, Lavender Fields, which she sings from deep pride and passion. And lo and behold, today her CD, This Sky Has No Limits, is now out and it's being offered to the public whenever she sings at my lectures. Sky's presence on the stage with me brings so much joy and love to her presentation because she's as closely aligned with those 7 phases of intention as any human being I ever known. So it's no secret why this book is also dedicated to her, one of my angels of spiritual intention. Inspiration and purpose. When you are inspired by great purpose, everything will begin to work for you. Inspiration comes from moving back in spirit and connecting to the 7 phases of intention. When you feel inspired, what appeared to be risky becomes a path you feel compelled to follow. The risks are gone because you're following your bliss, which is the truth within you. This is really love working in harmony with your intention. Essentially, if you don't feel love, you don't feel the truth, and your truth is all wrapped up in your connection to the Spirit. This is why inspiration is such an important part of the fulfillment of your intention to live a life on purpose. When I left the work that no longer inspired me, every single detail that I worried about was almost magically taken care of for me. I would spend several months working for a large corporation where I was offered a salary 3 times higher than I would be paid as a teacher, but I wasn't in spirit. That prodding inner knowing said, "Do what you're here to do," and teaching counseling became my manifested daily purpose. When I left a professorship at a major university for writing and public speaking, it wasn't a risk. It was something I had to do because I knew that I couldn't feel happy with myself if I didn't follow my heart. The universe handled the details because I was feeling love for what I was doing, and consequently I was living my truth. By teaching love, that very same love guided me to my purpose, and the financial remuneration followed to me with the same energy of love. I couldn't see how it would work out, but I followed an inner knowing and never regretted it. You may think it's too risky to give up on a salary, a pension, job security, or familiar surroundings because of a dim night light in your mind that draws you to see why it's turned on. I suggest there are no risks at all if you pay attention to that light, which is your knowing. Combine your strong knowing with the faith that Spirit will provide, and you acknowledge the power of intention at work. You trust in this inner knowing is all you need. I call it faith, not faith in an external God to provide you with a purpose, but faith in the call you are hearing from the center of your being. You are divine, infinite creation, making the choice to be on purpose and to be connected to the power of intention. It all revolves around you being harmoniously connected to your source. Faith eliminates the risk when you choose to trust that inner knowing about your purpose and become a channel for the power of intention. Making intention your reality. Below are 10 ways to practice fulfilling your intention to live your life on purpose from this day forward. Step 1. Affirm that in an intelligent system, no one shows up by accident, including you. The universal mind of intention is responsible for all of creation. It knows what it's doing. You came from that mind, and you are infinitely connected to it. There is a meaning in your existence, and you have the capacity to live from a perspective of purpose. The first step is to know that you are here on purpose. This is not the same as knowing what you are supposed to do. Throughout your life, what you do will change and shift. In fact, the changes can occur from hour to hour in each day of your life. Your purpose is not about what you do, it's about your beingness, that place within you from which your thoughts emerge. This is why you're called a human being rather than a human doing. Affirm in your own words, both in writing and in your thoughts, that you are here on purpose and intend to live from this awareness at all times. Step 2. Seize every opportunity, no matter how small, to give your life away in service. Get your ego out of your intention to live a life of purpose. Whatever it is that you want to do in life, make the primary motivation for your effort something or somebody other than your desire for gratification or reward. The irony here is that your personal rewards will multiply when you are focused on giving rather than receiving. Fall in love with what you are doing and let that love come from the deep, inner dwelling place of spirit. Then sell the feeling of love, enthusiasm, and joy generated by your efforts. If your purpose is felt by being supermom, then put your energy and inner drive into those children. If it is felt writing poetry or straightening teeth, then get your ego out of the way and do what you love doing. Do it from the perspective of making a difference for someone or for some cause, and let the universe handle the details of your personal rewards. Live your purpose, doing what you do with pure love. Then you will co-create with the power of the universal mind of intention, which is ultimately responsible for all of creation. Step 3. Align your purpose with the field of intention. This is the most important thing you can do to fulfill your intentions. Being aligned with the universal field means having faith that your Creator knows why you're here, even if you don't. It means surrendering the little mind to the big mind and remembering that your purpose will be revealed in the same way that you were revealed. Purpose, too, is birthed from creativeness, kindness, love, and receptivity to an endlessly abundant world. Keep this connection pure, and you will be guided in all of your actions. It's not fatalism to say that if it is meant to be, then it can be stopped. This is having faith in the power of intention, which originated with you and it's within you. When you are aligned with your originating source, then this same source will aid you in creating the life of your choice. Then what happens feels exactly as if it was meant to be. And that's because it is. You always have a choice in how to align yourself. If you stay focused on making demands on the universe, you will feel as if demands are being placed on you in your life. Stay focused on lovingly asking, how may I use my innate talents and desire to serve? And the universe will respond with identical energy by asking you, how may I serve you? Step 4. Ignore what anyone else tells you about your purpose. Regardless of what anyone might say to you, the truth about your feeling purposeful is that only you can know it. And if you don't feel it, that inner place where a burning desire resides, it isn't your purpose. Your relatives and friends may attempt to convince you that what they feel is your destiny. They may see talents that they think will help you to make a great living, or they may want you to follow in their footsteps because they think you'll be happy doing what they were doing for a lifetime. Your skill at the mathematics or decorating or fixing electronic equipment might indicate a high aptitude for a given pursuit, but in the end, if you don't feel it, nothing can make it resonate with you. Your purpose is between you and your source, and the closer you get to what that field of intention looks and acts like, the more you'll know that you are being purposefully guided. You might have zero measurable aptitudes and skills in a given area, yet feel inwardly drawn to doing it. Forget the aptitude test results, forget the absence of skills or know-how, and most important, ignore the opinions of others and listen to your heart. Step 5. Remember that the all-creating field of intention will work on your behalf. Albert Einstein is credited with saying that the most important decision we ever make is whether we believe we live in a friendly universe or a hostile universe. It's imperative that you know that the all-creating field of intention is friendly and will work with you as long as you see it that way. The universe supports life. It flows freely to all and it's endlessly abundant. Why choose to look at it in any other way? All of the problems we face are created by our belief that we are separate from God and each other, leading us to be in a state of conflict. This state of conflict creates a counterforce, causing millions of humans to be confused about their purpose. Know that the universe is always willing to work on your behalf and that you are always a friendly rather than hostile world. Step 6. Study and replicate the lives of people who are known their purpose. Whom do you admire the most? I urge you to read biographies of these people and explore how they lived and what motivated them to stay on purpose when obstacles surfaced. I have always been fascinated by Saul of Tarsus, later called St. Paul, whose letters and teachings became the source of a major portion of the New Testament. Taylor Caldwell wrote a definitive fictional account of St. Paul's life called Great Lion of God, which inspired me enormously. I was also deeply touched by the purposeful manner in which St. Francis of Assisi lived his life as exemplified in the novel St. Francis by Nikos Kazantzakis. I make it a point to use my free time to read about people who are models for purposeful living, and I encourage you to do the same. Step 7. Act as if you were living the life you were intended to live, even if you feel confused about this thing called purpose. Invite in your life every day whatever it might be that makes you feel closer to God and brings you a sense of joy. View the events you considered obstacles as perfect opportunities to test your resolve and find your purpose. Treat everything from a broken fingernail to an illness, to the loss of job, to a geographical move as an opportunity to get away from your familiar routine and move to purpose. By acting as if you were on purpose and treating the hurdles as a friendly reminders to trust in what you feel deeply within you, you will be fulfilling your own intention to be a purposeful person. Step 8. Meditate to stay on purpose. Use this technique of japa or japa, which I mentioned earlier, and focus your inner attention on asking your source to guide you in fulfilling your destiny. This letter from Matthew McQuad describes the exciting results of meditating to stay on purpose. Dear Dr. Dyer, my wife Michelle is pregnant by a miracle manifest from Spirit using all of your suggestions. For 5 years, Michelle and I were challenging by infertility. You name it, we tried it. None of the expensive and sophisticated treatments worked. The doctors had given up. Our own faith was tested over and over with each failed treatment cycle. Our doctor managed to freeze embryos from earlier cycles of treatment. Throughout the years, over 50 embryos had been transferred to Michelle's uterus. The odds of frozen embryo successfully initiated pregnancy in our case were close to zero. As you know, zero is a word not found in the spiritual vocabulary. One precious frozen embryo, surviving minus 250 degrees for 6 months, has taken up a new home in Michelle's womb. She is now in her second trimester. Okay, so what, you might say? I get letters like this every day. However, this letter contains proof of God. A tiny drop of protoplasm, as you have so eloquently written on many occasions, a physical mass of cells alive with the future pull of a human being, turned in our laboratory, then turned off in a freezer. All molecular motion and biochemical processes halted, suspended. Yet the essence of being was there prior to freezing. Where did the spiritual essence go while frozen? The cells were turned on, then turned off, but the spiritual essence had to prevail despite the physical state of the cell. The frequency of vibration of the frozen cell was low, but the vibrational frequency of its spirit must be beyond measure. The essence of the being had to reside outside of the physical plane or mass of cells. It couldn't go anywhere except to the realm of spirit, where it waited. It waited to tow and manifest into a being it always has been. I hope you find this story as compelling as I do, as nothing less than a miracle, an example of spirit in body rather than a body with a spirit. As now for the million-dollar question. Could this one embryo survive such hostile frozen conditions and still manifest? Because I practiced the japa meditation. Just because I opened my mouth and said, "Ah," I had a knowing, no question about it. Japa meditation and surrendering to infinite patience are daily practices. During my quiet moments, I can smell this baby. Michelle will thank me for my conviction and faith during the dark times. I praise your work for guiding me. Thank you. Now nothing is impossible for me. When I compare what I have manifested now in Michelle's womb to anything else I might desire, the process is without effort. After you truly surrender, everything you could ever want just seemed to show up, right on schedule. The next amazing manifestation you will be to help other infertile couples realize their dreams. Somehow, I will help those who feel there is no hope. Sincerely, Matthew McQuaid. Many people have written to me about their success with staying on purpose throughout the practice of japa meditation. I am deeply touched by the power of intention when I read about people who use japa to help achieve a pregnancy with which they felt was their divine mission. I particularly like Matthew's decision to use this experience to help other infertile couples. Step 9. Keep your thoughts and feelings in harmony with your actions. The surest way to realize your purpose is to eliminate any conflict or dissonance that exists between what you are thinking and feeling and how you are living your days. If you are in disharmony, you activate ego-dominated attitudes of fear of failure or disappointing others, which distance you from your purpose. Your actions need to be in harmony with your thoughts. Trust in those thoughts that harmonize and be willing to act upon them. Refuse to see yourself in unauthentic or cowardly, because those thoughts will keep you from acting on what you know you were meant to be. Take daily steps to bring your thoughts and feeling of your grand heroic mission into harmony with both your daily activities and, of course, with that ever-present field of intention. Being in harmony with God's will is the highest state of purpose you can attain. Step 10. Stay in a state of gratitude. Be thankful for even being able to contemplate your purpose. Be thankful for the wonderful gift of being able to serve humanity, your planet, and your God. Be thankful for the seeming roadblocks to your purpose. Remember, as Gandhi reminded us, divine guidance often comes when the horizon is the blackest. Look at the entire kaleidoscope of your life, including all of the people who have crossed your path. See all of the jobs, successes, apparent failures, possessions, losses, wins, everything from a perspective of gratitude. You're here for a reason. This is the key to feeling purposeful. Be grateful for the opportunity to live your life purposefully, in tune with the will of the source of all. That's a lot to be grateful for. It seems to me that searching for our purpose is like searching for happiness. There is no way to happiness. Happiness is the way. And so it is with living your life on purpose. It's not something you find, it's how you live your life serving others and bringing purpose to everything you do. That's precisely how you fulfill the intention That is the title of this chapter. When you are living your life on purpose, you are dwelling in love. When you are not dwelling in love, you're off purpose. This is true for individuals, institutions, businesses, and our governments as well. When a government gouges its citizens with excessive fees for any service, they're off purpose. When a government pursues violence as a means for resolving disputes, it's off purpose, regardless of how it justifies its actions. When businesses overcharge, cheat, or manipulate in the name of profit-making, they're off purpose. When religions permit prejudice and hatred or mistreat their parishioners, they're off purpose. And it is true for you as well. Your goal is in accessing the power of intention is to return to your source and live from that awareness, replicating the very actions of intention itself. That source is love. Therefore, the quickest method for understanding and living your purpose is to ask yourself if you're thinking in loving ways. Do your thoughts flow from a source of love within you? Are you acting on those loving thoughts? If the answer is yes, then you are on purpose. I can't say no more. End of chapter 8.